Playoff dreams, NFC North battles that boil blood. Every offseason move measured against decades of Lions heartbreak. Barry Sanders' sudden farewell, Calvin Johnson's exit, that crushing 0-16 season, and last year's fiery playoff push that left fans starved for more. As Detroit limps toward the edge of Week 1's roster cutoff, questions rage. Can this Lions defense finally hold the line? Or do the Packers, Vikings, and Bears still own the trench wars that win or lose seasons in this division? The defensive. Lions' depth has looked paper-thin, and with injuries looming, every missed opportunity in the front office could be the difference between solid, playoff contention and another tough offseason spent begging for hope. The pressure is on. History does not forgive delay, and Detroit's rivals are already reinforcing their fronts. Green Bay's revamped D-line hungry, Minnesota's youth loaded with talent, Chicago's defense quietly rebuilding. The clock ticks. Will the Lions gamble on raw youth or bring in proven depth before the season swallows them whole? This isn't just about a couple of signings. It's a test of Detroit's resolve to finish what they started last year. This is Lions News Fan Report, Detroit's beat for every move, every rumor, and every heartbeat inside Ford Field. If you bleed Honolulu blue, hit subscribe now. Bring that roar to the Lions fight tailgate talk and all. The wheels turn fast. Wednesday, the Lions officially claimed 2 defensive linemen off waivers. Tyler Lacey from Jacksonville and Tyrus Wheat from Dallas beefs up that thin defensive front. Lacey, a 2023 fourth-round pick, showed flashes starting 8 games in Jacksonville last season with 2 tackles for loss to his name. His versatility is key here, big enough to play defensive end, but nimble enough to take the 3 technique. Spot, a role critical in Ben Johnson's defense to plug gaps and disrupt the pocket. Meanwhile, Wheat, an undrafted free agent in 2023, edged into 8 games for Dallas this year, posting 14 tackles along the edge. Neither is a flashy household name, but both bring proven NFL reps, which Detroit desperately needs behind starters. Like Hutchinson, Davenport, Reeder, and Tyleik Williams. Detroit enter Wednesday's waiver claims with 3 open roster spots, trading Tim Patrick to Jacksonville for a future 2026 sixth-round pick, creating a 4th. Just-in-time roster moves like this suggest the front office is shoring up weak. Points on the fly while eyeing the long game. They plan to sign ex-Jaguar safety Daniel Thomas once he clears a physical, further layering depth on a defense that lost key bodies to injury and needs reinforcements waiting in the wings. That's crucial since Allen McNeil and Josh Paschal, 2 starting-caliber defensive linemen, won't return until later in the season. Solidifying the bottom of that rotation matters for the grind of NFC North matchups where trench play shapes. Outcomes. And yes, the Lions also locked in veteran depth on the practice squad Tuesday, with re-signings like Tom Kennedy and Tristan Colon, shoring up spots that could become vital if injuries strike. What does this mean tactically? These waiver claims feel like puzzle pieces for Dan Campbell and defensive coordinator Ben Johnson to keep the D-line fresh and versatile. Lacey's ability to rotate inside or outside lets Detroit mix front pressures without losing defensive shape. Wheat's edge experience counters a pass rush that demands depth across all 4 quarters. For players like Roy Lopez, Pat O'Connor, and Al-Quaiden Muhammad, these moves add competition and more eyes on their backs. Aitan Hutchinson's stellar play last season already set a standard, but the health and productivity of the supporting cast will decide if Detroit's D can slay the division's high-powered offenses. Without McNeil and Paschal, the depth chart was looking like a stack of cards. Now these claims give the line some needed skeleton. This ripples through the NFC North, where every defensive mismatch is magnified. Packers and Vikings both boast fast, dynamic D linemen, and Chicago's defense quietly rebuilt into a Chicago hustle front. Detroit can't afford to fall behind. In roster depth, again, every clutch sack and tackle for loss can swing division wins, playoff seeding, and the heartbreak of yet another Lions offseason wishing for more. Let's remember, though, just a year ago, this Lions defense roared to life down the stretch. proving that with the right pieces, even imperfect ones, Detroit can put rivals on notice. Is Lacy and Wheat's arrival the quiet spark to push the Lions deeper in that fight? So, how do Lions fans see it? Is Tyler Lacy a rotational player who can give Hutchinson a breather and push for bigger snaps? Can Tyrus Wheat sharpen the edge rush and add that constant pressure we know Detroit desperately craves? Will these waiver pickups push the team beyond depth chart filler into genuine contributors? Or are they last-minute lifelines in a division where rivals are already snatching talent off the scrap heap? These late moves could steer the Lions toward a breakthrough or sink them again in the maddening cycle that Detroit fans know too well. It's a gamble, but when has Detroit ever done anything else? Remember, this is the Lions. We don't get easy roads. We get grit, grind, and moments that break your heart before they build your hope. With playoff pressure mounting, the NFC North heat rising, and the clock ticking toward kickoff, every decision matters. Hold tight, keep the Honolulu Blue Pride loud as Ford Field fills, and let the record show that this city won't quit chasing the promise of the next breakthrough season. So, drop in the comments, what's your take on Lacy and Wheat? Edge rotation solved? Depth crisis averted? Or one more puzzle piece in a long off-season game? Fight on. What if this isn't the end of the shock, but the start of something bigger? Lions fans know how quickly the ground shifts. A single move can rewrite the entire narrative. With the Lions' defensive line seemingly hanging by a thread, rivals are already circling, sensing vulnerability that Detroit's front office might desperately try to patch up now or risk another playoff-less season. The question is, are the Lions truly all in on these supplemental claims? Or is this just the beginning of a push that could either elevate their trench game or blow up in their face? Rumors swirl that behind closed doors, Detroit's front office is dissecting every available piece, weighing whether these waiver claims Tyler Lacy and Tyrus Wheat are enough to bridge the gap, or if more drastic measures are imminent. Think about it. Lacy, a fourth-round pick with just under a year's NFL experience, but flashes of disruptive talent. Wheat, an undrafted free agent with 8 games under his belt. These aren't lifetime elites, but possible game changers if coached right and given reps. Still, is this enough to counter the NFC North's ferocious front line led by the Vikings' young talent or Green Bay's revamped D-line hungry for vengeance? Division rivals are already culling talent, reinforcing trenches, and testing Detroit's depth, something Lions fans haven't seen since the heartbreak of last year's late-season collapse. But this move feels deliberate, strategic, like a calculated test of Detroit's resilience. Could it be that Campbell's staff sees a window to seize on young, hungry players and shake up the rotation? Maybe, but the stakes are sky high. One bad injury, one missed block, and the season could unravel faster than a Lions Sunday blowout. Insiders hint that Detroit is actively searching for veteran anchors, possibly more explosive signings that could push their defense from inconsistent to menacing. Yet, with 3 open roster spots thanks to trading Tim Patrick for a future 6th-rounder, are they banking on these developmental types to grow or hoping for a surprise splash? And remember, Detroit's last big playoff push was fueled by that relentless late-season surge, but if the trenches falter again, the whole house of cards collapses. The NFC North isn't forgiving. The Packers' defensive line, now boosted with a speedier pass rush, could exploit any weakness. The Vikings, with their offensive firepower, look for a defense that can keep pace and prevent explosive plays. And Chicago's quiet rebuild is churning out a gritty defense that's already stronger than last season's shrug. Every snap counts. The Lions know they need depth, versatility, and a little luck, and these latest claims may just push them over that edge or leave them more exposed than ever. With the clock ticking toward Week 1, Detroit's gambles could define whether they sneak into the playoffs or wind up watching from home. This isn't just off-season chatter. It's a calculated risk, and the entire city is holding its breath. Do Lacy and Wheat bring the juice? Will these moves finally plug the holes that have haunted Detroit for decades? Or are they just band-aids on a sinking ship, and the real test begins now? The question fans should be asking, do these additions mark a turning point, or is it déjà vu all over again? Because if history did teach us anything, it's that Detroit doesn't get second chances, especially in the trenches. It's all about grit, toughness, and making one last stand. And with the playoffs teetering on the horizon, will these waiver claims be enough, or are we heading into a week of more surprises, more gambles, more heartbreak? Because when the season beats down, only the toughest stay standing. The front office's move to add Lacey and Wheat might just be the start, or it could be the last hope for a franchise desperate to turn its luck around. And if they pull it off, we could be witnessing the seeds of something legendary. But if not, we know Detroit's story, a long, brutal fight with a few sparks of hope and always a flash of that blue and silver resilience. This is the moment, Lions fans. The choice is ours. Do we believe these moves can lift us to new heights? Or is this just another chapter in a cycle of heartbreak? Time will tell, but one thing's for sure. The city, Ford Field roaring loud, is ready for whatever comes next. The battle lines are drawn. And if the front office gambles now, we could be watching the beginning of a dynasty or the death of a dream. Honestly, as a Lions diehard, I'm tired of all the Band-Aid moves. We need a damn revolution in that front. These waiver claims? They might buy us some time, but deep down, I feel like we're constantly playing catch-up because the trenches have been our Achilles heel for decades. I want to see real grit, real dominance. Otherwise, it's another season of Hope Dallas failure. But yeah, if these guys step up, maybe they prove they're all in on making us believers, not just wishful thinkers. Stand up. Lions fans, Ford Field roars with our resilience. Let's show the league we're built for grit, for pride, for the fight. Only in Honolulu Blue do we refuse to quit, so raise that roar and let's make these moves count. This isn't just football. It's the soul of Detroit, and we're not backing down now.